Okay, today is the 2nd of November and we're looking at Dash. Right now, Bitcoin is at its critical level where a lot of people are bearish for a bearish scenario and it's justified, as well as potentially a bullish move. In accordance with that, we're seeing the alts really pump. And when we look at Dash, it's an interesting level and it's a chart I picked out because it does raise a question of what you do here. So we've got our liquidity levels there. And just by initial thoughts, you would think that there'll be a resistance and you won't break through. And potentially looking for shorting opportunity, which could be significant. I mean, if Bitcoin goes bearish, you can see this come all the way down here and it's a greater entry. So if you were to get this right and Bitcoin does go bearish, that is a big move. And say it took out the liquidity, that's like 80%, 90% move potentially. So it's one that we want to have a look at and look for an entry and manage our risk. So let's have a close look and look at what we can learn from the bottom as well as the top. So let's look at this potential move here after a bear market. As you can see, this is on a regular setting. We won't go for the early wave count there. We just want to see this level of accumulation and then the breakout and the rejection. Why is the rejection and so on? And to me, the rejection probably comes from the fixed volume profile level. Give it a take. Let's see how we go from there. Let's see if we do that. It will skew it. But let's just try that out. Naked point of control right there. So let's just put that in for now. And what I'm going to do is just adjust it. I'm going to adjust this volume profile to really make it relevant. And we can see that it's actually gone lower, so it doesn't quite fit our model. What we want to do is one over here as well. This is a range. Let's just go all the way to the bottom. Let's see what that does. Okay, we can see support level coming up here. Doesn't really help, does it? All right, let's look at anchored VWAP. So anchored VWAP is likely to be the cause of that resistance, along with Fibonacci. So let's just do that. Maybe that's the reason. Now let's zoom in and find out what caused that resistance. And we can see from this level, initial resistance was that. We didn't quite hit it. And I'd like to do this as a practice. Look for reasons for resistance. That was the liquidity, and that's pretty much it from that perspective. So this is a daily chart. I would say the daily level and liquidity right here was the main culprit. And so if we go across there, we've got the liquidity levels daily, and anchor VWAP doesn't quite touch it, but the liquidity does. There's the liquidity right up to that point, doesn't quite make it. So it's taken out a fair bit of liquidity here. The 20 daily EMA and SMA, when do we go bullish? While price comes down, we see a trend change, comes down, bit of a fake out. This is obviously another fake out here, rejection, and down. So it hits the bottom. We break the 20 moving averages, fails a retest, and then breaks above, back test strong, back test strong, back test strong. So now we're seeing a breakout, and we see formation, bullish moves, and so on. So the 20 moving average kept playing its role until we break it, and then we drop it down again to this level. Let's see if Fibonacci has a role in this area. That will be our area there. What do I use that? That is the volume, right? So we've got our value area high, and at times you can use that, and we get the Fibonacci level as well in confluence. If we're to do this all the way to the top, which is the main pivot point, and adding our 0.382, would that make a difference? No, it doesn't. Let's put on logarithmic. Logarithmic, it doesn't quite do it. Give or take. Yeah, it actually is 618. There you go. So that was another reason. 618 is the main reason for that one there, perfectly. So you got a SFP there, right? If you were lucky enough to get that rejection into that, you'll be fine. And you can see that neckline of some sort, and once that breaks that neckline, you drop. 20 moving average, great. From Fibonacci early wave perspective, it doesn't really help. This is a really hard one. So we see that level as significant based on Fibonacci. Similarly here, we look at price coming down. We have our downtrend. We didn't add our 50. Let's add our 50 in here. It's or the 200. 200 also plays a role there. Let's see this 200 EMA, probably better. EMA doesn't quite do the job. SMA does a better job. And let's say 50. Here's a 50. And why we use 50? Because 50 is sometimes, and in most cases, is the last resort. And if it drops the 50, it's like confirmation. So we lose a 20, then the 50, and the 50 will play its role at some point, there, and so on. Anchored VWAP, let's just use that. Give it to the all-time high. And we see anchored VWAP playing its role here as well. So anchored VWAP very nicely acting as the resistance along here and along there. And so, and then if you have Fibonacci along with it, it's perfect. 50, 68, and even there as well. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it's like if you do that, that's still a fair bit. So similarly here, we get the anchored VWAPs, and then we'll get the downtrend again. Now obviously we'll probably get a bullish divergence playing on, but you can see that breakout, accumulation, reversal structure of some sort, and then bang, up again. And we touch that level from the previous. Give or take, naked point of control. All right, we'll say that is a naked point of control. And so what we missed here is, okay, previous liquidity levels. There we go, guys. Daily level acting as resistance. This is a daily chart where we're going to look at this area and try to find a good entry to short. For the time being, what we have was a nice move. A, B, C, D, and E. And then there's a lesson there, guys. Right? Liquidity level. Triangle. Doesn't need to be. You can make it into a triangle if you want, just by doing that. What we notice is here is with patterns, and you'll notice that many times before, if you get the A and the B, C, sometimes you get the double. So D is counted either one of them, and similar to the bottom, and that is our E. And now E is probably more deeper than we'd like it to be. We would like it to be the golden ratio, and no, it's on the golden ratio, perfect. So that would have been the perfect entry, because if you watch the elite wave count, pull back, take out the liquidity just below that. So liquidity, good enough. Just looking close. Yes, so you see that candle, SFP has taken that out. Is it 100%? It's good enough. Done a good job. You probably look at other exchanges, it's even better. So that capitulation, that would have been a good entry. And if you got stopped out, you would have been another entry. But that makes sense for a big move because of this structure. And then a strong move to the upside. And we can see the anchored VWAP playing its role again, playing its role here again. That's why I like to leave the old ones, anchored VWAPs into it, because we can see stuff taking place and pre-shorting opportunities, liquidity. And so if we go now to the 4-hour, we can see how it plays its role. We had this A, B, C, D, E type of thing. Again, it's a nice pattern, and it goes up. So the squeeze is on. Now, well, if we were to say it's the 618 or the fib extension 1. So what we want to do is go, okay, that is, if we do that, the golden ratio is there. Perfect. So we just could do this, add that in. Yep. And these are potential fib levels on one way of doing it, with the assumption that that is our golden ratio as support. The other one is fib extension. So we do two methods, from there to there and to the last point. And you can set alignment 0.5. So we're going to look at the golden ratio here. It's equating to the 0.618. So an ideal scenario, the liquidity is here. An ideal scenario, we hit this level, the 618, confidence with that, and we probably do something like that. But if you get a great entry, great. You might get this last one, and we'll look for a short. For now, if it comes below that level, I expect it to come lower, and this level of area will be my level of interest. And it might just range for a while for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin ranges, we might see it range here, or we range there, and then potentially a shorting position or a continue on. And then if it was to continue on, that's our next level, and then the major liquidity there. And that could be our 1, 2, 3 type of thing, or an A, B, C. So early wave perspective, we have a number of scenarios, and it really comes down to is what Bitcoin's going to do. I expect Bitcoin to bounce a fair bit more. So if Bitcoin bounces, this might go sideways. Bitcoin consolidates at an area, this will continue on. If Bitcoin drops right now, we see this dropping right now, and that's it. But I don't see this. Yeah, we can see this as a major move and a reversal of some sort. It won't be an easy entry. It can be a reversal though. But my gut feel says that we are likely to go more high and look at these levels, because the one, and what we didn't do is here, get this color out dark. Oh, there you go. It does fit perfectly that this is going to be a major 127 is a potentially shorting position. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put signals, alerts. So for shorting position, potentially, put myself on an alert. This is on the 4-hour. And what I want to do is look at the 618 or this level here, another alert. I'll close on the bar. And what I want to do is go on this 30-minute chart now. Yeah, there we go. So we are breaking to the upside. The thing is, the liquidity is there. It's going to be a hard. I wouldn't trade it now. For scalp, maybe. Oops. So what we have from a scalping perspective, we take this high, and we just did that, and we got this low. Ideally, you want to hit the lows, but I have a gut feeling that this is going to go higher, hit my level, resistance, and then come back down. So that'll be my area of a shorting potential. So this is going to keep going, I think. No long entry, we'll look for a short scalp, and it might come back down, and we look for another long. So as long as Bitcoin doesn't drop and goes sideways, this is a good opportunity for Dash. I'm going to leave that, guys. Please give me a like and share. Talk to you soon.